The king also passed this test by looking inward and purifying his heart. The final test was a confrontation with a wizard. The wizard uses powerful magic and tries the king, but the king confronts him with the wisdom and courage he learned from Saira. Finally, he managed to defeat the wizard and break the magical prison. When the king was released from prison, a magic stone shone in his hands. Using the power of the stone, the king was able to make the kingdom an even richer and more peaceful place. The king overcame trials with wisdom and courage and became a great king who continued to be loved by the people of the kingdom. And the kingdom was once again enveloped in peace, and the king's story was to be told forever. That's it. The Magic Prison is an African story. Once upon a time, in the vast steppes of Africa, there was a wonderful kingdom. The name of the kingdom is the Kingdom of Uranda. The kingdom was ruled by a brave and wise king, King Alec. King Alec loved his people and worked hard every day to keep his kingdom peaceful and prosperous. However, there was one big problem in the kingdom. It was a terrifying magical prison at the northern end of the kingdom. The prison was once guarded by magical powers, where a mighty wizard was once imprisoned. The imprisoned wizard was an evil man who once tried to rule the kingdom and was sealed by King Alec's grandfather. The prison was considered terrifying just by looking at it from a distance. No one could get close. But one day, a strange event happened in the kingdom. A loud thunderclap roared in the night sky, and the next morning, the door of the magical prison was opened by itself. The people of the kingdom were astonished and informed the king. King Alec immediately sent a servant to inspect the prison, but there was no one there. Instead, they found an old map floating in the prison. It was to indicate the location of a magical treasure hidden somewhere in the kingdom. As soon as the king picked up the map, he immediately decided to set off in search of the place. Saira, a sage who serves close to the king, will also accompany them, and the two begin their long journey. They crossed the forests deep in the kingdom, crossed rivers, and crossed many mountains as shown on the map. Finally, when they reached the place the map pointed to, they found a cave hidden in a huge rocky mountain. Inside the cave, Saira said, there was a magic stone that glowed blue, and that stone gathered all the magical powers. However, Saira immediately warned. This magic stone has great power and will put anyone who touches it to the test. If you fail that ordeal, you will be swallowed up by the power of the stone. The king accepted the warning and was determined to touch the stone. The moment he touched the stone, the king was suddenly trapped in a magical prison. Inside the prison, the wizard's voice echoes. King, you will never return to the kingdom unless you overcome the trials I have left behind. The king thought calmly and decided to be put to the test. In prison, he first faced the first test. It is about going through a maze inhabited by terrifying beasts. The king was not afraid to proceed and managed to make his way through the maze. Next, a second trial awaited the king. It was a test to overcome the fears and desires in my heart.